Family went to Florida without me, I found out through Instagram. When I blocked their credit card, the apologies suddenly poured in. I, 29M, live in Chicago. My parents, sister, and her husband have always treated me like the responsible one. The one who books flights, manages bills, and, apparently, finances half of their family activities. I never complained, we're family, right? Or at least, I thought so. Last month, we were supposed to plan a family vacation. My mom kept saying, we'll figure out the dates soon, and my sister claimed she was still checking work schedules. I asked several times if we were still doing the trip, everyone brushed me off, saying it was still in the works. Then one Friday morning, as I was getting ready for work, I opened Instagram and froze. There it was. My mom, sister, and brother-in-law smiling on a Florida beach, captioned, "Finally some family time under the sun #Blueheart #Florida vacation." No tags for me. No mention of me. Nothing. At first, I thought maybe it was an old picture, but the timestamp was from that morning. Then I noticed my sister's husband wearing the new swim shorts he bought last week. They left without me. And they didn't even bother to tell me. The worst part? They had used the family credit card, the one that's technically under my name, but that they also use for shared expenses. I checked the app, yep. Flight tickets. Hotel in Miami. Restaurants. So, I did what any hurt and humiliated person would do, I blocked the card. Not even 5 hours later, my phone exploded with notifications. Mom, honey, we need to talk. I think there's an issue with the card. Sister, hey, weird thing, the hotel says our payment isn't going through. Brother-in-law, can you check the card? We're kind of stuck here. I didn't reply. Then the tone changed. Mom, we didn't mean to exclude you. It was just a spontaneous trip. Sister, please don't be mad. We thought you wouldn't want to come. You're always so busy. Mom again, please unblock it, we're stranded here. We'll explain everything when we get back. Oh, now they remembered me. When they were sipping margaritas on the beach, I was invisible, but the second the money stopped flowing, I became their favorite person again. I let them stew for 24 hours. They had to call the hotel and pay with their own cards eventually. My mom sent me a long guilt-tripping message about how families shouldn't punish each other, and that I was being childish. I finally replied. Families shouldn't exclude each other either. You left me out, lied to my face, and used my money to do it. I'm done being your backup wallet. I haven't spoken to them since. My sister tried adding me to a new group chat called Family Red Heart, but I left it immediately. A few of my friends said I went too far, that blocking the card was petty. But honestly, I don't think so. They didn't even have the decency to tell me. They just assumed I'd keep paying for everything, like always. So no, I'm not unblocking anything. Not my card. Not their numbers. Not my heart to people who only remember me when their payment gets declined. After I blocked the card and sent that message, the silence that followed was almost deafening. For a few days, it was like my family had collectively decided I didn't exist. No calls, no texts, no attempts to fix things. Until they got back from Florida. I knew they were home because my sister's husband, Mark, posted a picture of their flight landing back in Chicago with the caption, "Home sweet home." What a trip. I almost laughed out loud. What a trip, indeed. Then the messages started again. First, it was my mom. We're home. Can you please come over? We need to talk face to face. This has gone too far. I ignored it for a while, but curiosity got the better of me. So I agreed to meet them on Sunday afternoon at my parents' house. I figured maybe, just maybe, they'd apologize. Maybe they'd finally realize how cruel that was. When I walked in, they were all sitting around the dining table. My mom looked tense, my dad, who's usually quiet, avoided eye contact, and my sister had that defensive, fake sweet expression she always wears when she's about to twist the story. "Sit down," my mom said. "Let's just clear the air." So I did. My sister started. "It wasn't personal, okay? We just didn't think you'd want to come. You're always working, and you hate the beach." I stared at her. "I hate sand in my shoes, not vacations with my family." "You all lied to me." Mark chimed in, "It was kind of last minute. Flights were cheap, and your mom just said let's go. It wasn't planned to hurt you." I turned to my mom. "Wasn't planned to hurt me, but you bought the tickets using my card." She sighed, like she was the victim here. "You said it was for family expenses. We didn't think it would be a big deal." I could feel my jaw tighten. Family expenses don't include excluding a family member and then using his money to pay for it. My dad finally spoke, in that slow, careful tone he uses when he wants to avoid conflict. "Son, maybe it was a misunderstanding. We shouldn't fight over money. That was it for me. This isn't about money. It's about respect. You didn't even invite me. You lied to my face for weeks. If I hadn't seen that Instagram post, would you have ever told me?" No one answered. My mom tried to switch to guilt mode again, the same tone she's used all my life when she wants me to cave. "We just wanted a stress-free trip. You can be intense sometimes. Always worrying about the budget or logistics. We wanted to relax. So you relax by lying and using my money?" My sister rolled her eyes. "Oh come on, don't make it sound like theft. You act like we stole from you." I looked her straight in the eye. "You did." Silence. For the first time, my mom looked genuinely uncomfortable. My dad mumbled something about family sticking together, but I stood up before he could finish. "You know what? You're right, family should stick together. But that only works when everyone is treated like family. I'm done playing the responsible one while you treat me like a walking credit line." I left before they could respond. That night, I got a string of messages. From my mom. "You embarrassed us today. You didn't need to act like that in front of everyone." From my sister. "You're so dramatic. We'll pay you back if it means that much to you." And finally, from my dad. "Please, son. Don't cut us off. Your mother's been crying all evening." I didn't respond. I just turned off my phone and sat there thinking about how many times I'd bent over backward for them, lending money I never got back, babysitting my sister's kids, helping my mom with her bills. It's like my kindness was a given, something they were entitled to. So the next morning, I called the bank and removed everyone from the family credit account. I set up a new card, just for me. I also changed all my passwords and logged them out of every shared subscription. It wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming control. Later that week, my aunt, my mom's sister, called me out of the blue. She said my mom had told her I ruined their vacation and turned the whole family against each other. I told her my side. And she just sighed. "Honey, your mom's been using that card for years like it's hers. You were just too nice to say no." That hit me harder than I expected. Because it wasn't just this one trip, it was years of being taken for granted. Every Christmas gift I paid for but never got credit. Every restaurant bill I quietly covered. Every "I'll pay you back later" that never happened. I finally saw it for what it was, not family love, but dependency disguised as affection. It's been a month since then. My mom still sends guilt-ridden messages every few days, my sister tries to joke like nothing happened, and my dad keeps pretending it'll blow over. But it won't. I told them they can call me when they're ready to apologize, genuinely, not because they want something. Until then, I'm done being their financial safety net and emotional punching bag. Funny thing is, I've never felt lighter. I booked my own vacation last week. Solo. Somewhere quiet, without fake smiles and empty words. No shared card. No shared lies. Just me, finally spending my money on myself. It's been about 2 months since the Florida fiasco, since I blocked the card, removed them from my accounts, and walked away from that so-called family meeting. At first, things were quiet. Too quiet. Then came the phase I should have expected, the victim tour. Apparently, my mom has been telling every relative in the Midwest that I've turned cold and don't care about family anymore. My aunt told me my mother even cried at a Sunday brunch, saying, "He froze us out because of a small misunderstanding. He's changed." Changed? Yeah, I guess I did. I finally stopped being their personal ATM. What really set me off, though, was when my cousin texted me saying, "Hey, I heard you canceled the family credit card and stranded them in Florida. That's kind of harsh, man." I just laughed. Stranded? They were staying in a 4-star Miami resort. They could have used their own cards, and they did. They just didn't like that, for once, they had to pay for their own choices. One evening, I got a knock on my apartment door. It was my dad. He looked older than I remembered, gray, tired, holding 2 takeout coffees. "Can we talk?" he asked. I sighed but let him in. He started carefully, like he was walking on glass. "Your mom's upset. Your sister's upset. I know you're mad, but can't we just move on? You're still family." I took a deep breath. "Dad, I'm not mad anymore. I'm just done being used." He frowned. "Used? We're not users, son. We love you." I nodded slowly. Love doesn't look like exclusion and lies. It doesn't mean going on vacation behind my back and charging it to my card. He didn't answer. Just stared at his coffee like it would give him a script. Then he quietly said, "Your mom didn't think you'd say yes to the trip. She wanted to surprise you later with pictures." I couldn't help but scoff. "Oh, so the surprise was finding out I wasn't invited?" He sighed. "She knows it was wrong. She's ashamed." I raised an eyebrow. "Then why is she telling everyone I abandoned her?" He had no answer for that either. He just muttered something about her being emotional and left soon after. A week later, I got another message from my sister. "We want to invite you to dinner. Just us. No drama, promise." Against my better judgment, I went. We met at a fancy Italian restaurant downtown, one I had recommended months ago but never got to visit because, well, they went without me back then. She smiled as soon as I arrived, like nothing ever happened. "I'm glad you came. Mom's been talking about you non-stop." "Yeah," I said dryly. "I've noticed." The first 20 minutes were fake pleasant. Small talk, jokes, pretending we weren't sitting on a mountain of resentment. Then my mom finally leaned forward and said the words I was waiting for. "We just want to move past all this. Can you please unblock the card? It's complicated having separate accounts." There it was. The real reason for the invitation. I almost laughed. So this dinner wasn't about an apology, it was about money again. My sister snapped, "You're being paranoid. It's not about money, it's about family convenience." "Convenience for you," I said. "Not for me." My mom's tone turned sharp. "You're being vindictive. You're punishing us." I set down my fork. "No. I'm teaching you a boundary. You just don't like that it comes with consequences." She went silent. My sister muttered something under her breath like, "You've changed," and I replied, "Good. That means I'm finally learning." I paid my own bill and left before dessert. 2 days later, my mom posted a long Facebook message about how some children forget who raised them. She didn't name me, but everyone knew. Comments poured in, relatives saying things like, praying for reconciliation, and, kids today don't appreciate their parents. At first, it hurt. Then it became almost funny, how fast the narrative flipped. They excluded me. Used my money. Lied to me. And somehow, I became the villain. But here's the thing, I'm not angry anymore. I'm just free. Since cutting them off financially, I've saved more than I thought possible. I've started therapy, something I'd been putting off for years. And I've realized how much guilt they used to control me. I'm not saying I'll never speak to them again. But if I do, it'll be on my terms, not because they ran out of money or need a ride or want something unblocked. Last night, I booked another solo trip, this time to the Pacific Northwest. A quiet cabin, no phone, no family drama. As I packed, I scrolled through old photos, one from years ago of all of us smiling at a beach. It hit me that I used to think those moments were genuine. Maybe they were, once. But now? They're just snapshots of a version of me who didn't know his worth yet. I do now. They can keep their fake apologies, their guilt trips, and their public sympathy posts. I've got something better, peace, privacy, and a credit card that finally belongs only to me. 3 months after the dinner fiasco, after the fake apologies, the guilt posts, and the endless attempts to drag me back into their orbit, I thought they had finally given up. I was wrong. It was a rainy Saturday morning. I was home, enjoying a quiet cup of coffee, planning my next solo trip, when someone started pounding on my door. Not knocking. Pounding. I looked through the peephole. It was my mom. And behind her, my dad, my sister, and her husband Mark. All 4 of them standing in the hallway like a disappointed jury. I froze. For a second, I considered pretending I wasn't home, but the knocking grew louder. "Open the door, we know you're there," my sister shouted. I sighed, opened it just a crack, and said flatly, "What are you doing here?" My mom's eyes were red. "We need to talk. This can't go on." "I think it can," I said, trying to close the door, but she wedged her foot in. "Please, just 5 minutes." Against my better judgment, I let them in. They stood awkwardly in my living room, the same living room they hadn't stepped foot in since they called me petty for blocking the card. My dad was the first to speak. "Son, we've been talking. We all agree things got out of hand. Your mother's been heartbroken." My mom sniffled, "You used to call me every day. Now weeks go by, and I don't even know how you're doing." "You could have thought of that before leaving me behind in Chicago," I said quietly. She sighed. "We made a mistake. We shouldn't have gone without you. But you've punished us enough. Don't you think it's time to forgive?" I laughed bitterly. "You think this is about revenge? You lied to me, used my card, blamed me, and then played victim online. I'm not punishing you. I'm protecting myself." Mark tried to lighten the tension. "Look, man, it's not like we stole from you. We were just trying to have a little fun as a family. You could have come next time." "There's not going to be a next time," I said. That's when my sister exploded. "You're so dramatic. Everyone's miserable because of you. You cut us off, blocked the card, made Mom cry every day." "Mom's crying because she can't use my money anymore," I interrupted. "Wow," she snapped, "listen to yourself. You sound cold. Maybe that's what happens when you stop being used." The room went dead silent. My dad finally said, in that calm but tired voice, "We're family. You can't just erase us." "I'm not erasing you," I said. "I'm setting boundaries. There's a difference." But they didn't get it, or maybe they didn't want to. To them, boundaries looked like betrayal. My mom said softly, I just want things to go back to the way they were. I met her eyes. So do I, back when you respected me. But that version of us doesn't exist anymore. She started crying again, real tears this time, and for a moment, guilt hit me. Old habits die hard. But then I remembered how she'd looked me in the eye after Florida and said it was no big deal. She wiped her face and said, "You've changed. You used to care about family." "I still do," I said. "I just finally care about myself too." My sister muttered, "Fine. Be alone then," grabbed her coat, and stormed out. Mark followed her, saying, "This is pointless." My dad hesitated by the door. He looked at me and said quietly, "You're making a mistake, son. You'll regret this when we're gone." I said nothing. He shook his head and left. That left just my mom. She looked so small standing there, clutching her purse, eyes tired. For a moment, I thought she might apologize, really apologize. Instead, she said, "You'll see, family is all you have. Money comes and goes. But when you're old and alone, you'll wish you'd forgiven us." And then she left, too. When the door shut, I stood there for a long time, staring at the empty hallway. I expected to feel relief, but all I felt was, exhausted. Because deep down, I knew, they weren't going to change. To them, forgiveness meant going back to the way things were, me paying, them taking, and everyone pretending it was love. A few days later, my cousin sent me a screenshot of my mom's latest Facebook post. It read, "We went to see him. He wouldn't even let us in properly. We did our best. Please pray for our family to heal." Hundreds of comments. People calling me ungrateful. One even wrote, "How can a son treat his own mother like that?" I didn't reply. I didn't defend myself. Because I've realized something. You can't explain boundaries to people who benefit from you not having any. Instead, I focused on rebuilding my life, quietly, privately. I got a promotion at work. I finally paid off my student loans. I started spending weekends exploring new places around Illinois, small towns, hiking trails, farmers markets. Places that didn't remind me of guilt or manipulation. And you know what? For the first time in my life, I felt peace. No constant calls asking for favors. No passive-aggressive guilt trips. No fake apologies. Just silence, and it was beautiful. Last week, I booked another trip, this time with a few close friends. Real friends. People who actually include me because they want me there, not because they need something from me. When I told them what happened with my family, one of them said something that stuck. Sometimes, family isn't who shares your blood. It's who shares your respect. And I realized, that's exactly it. My family gave me guilt. My friends gave me peace. I don't know if I'll ever fully reconcile with my parents or my sister. Maybe someday, when they understand what they did and truly mean it. But until then, I'm keeping my distance, and my independence. Because once you learn that love without respect is just manipulation, there's no going back. If they ever show up again, maybe I'll listen, but only if they come with honesty, not tears, and definitely not a request to unblock the card. Until then, my door stays closed. And for the first time, I'm completely okay with that.